Russia is urging all foreign diplomats to evacuate Kiev with immediate effect. They also make a call to the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, telling them that they should ask all their diplomats, American diplomats in Kiev, to evacuate Kiev and all foreign diplomats, because they are going to target decision-making centers, diplomat centers, and also military centers. They also told the all foreign people that lives in Kiev, foreigners, to evacuate Kiev with immediate effect, because they are going to carry out a massive strike, and they are not going to be limited to any places. So anywhere it touch, it touch. So me, I don't understand. This decision-making center is where government people make decisions. I believe they are now planning to kidnap Zelensky. This is coming after when Zelensky launched a massive attack into Moscow some days ago, targeting civilian area, children area, schools area, all those areas where children were having their, where children are staying, all the civilians area, that destroyed a lot of infrastructure that do not go well with Moscow. The Moscow now carry out a retaliation strike yesterday, targeting a lot of infrastructure in Kiev, with over 90 ballistic missiles overnight, including one Oreshik hypersonic missiles with warhead that have a lot of warhead and spread and become a lot, destroying a lot of infrastructure in Kiev, and also 100 drones overnight, targeting a lot of places, a lot of civilian sites in Kiev, killing a lot of people, and also injured hundreds of people. That was yesterday. But now Putin is saying that is just a twin of the iceberg of what is becoming of Ukraine. Now he's urging all diplomats, foreign diplomats. I don't think this is going to go well with Ukraine, with Russia, because they are going to target every decision-making office or building in Kiev. This has created a lot of commotion in the whole world, and the whole world are condemning Russia for asking all foreign diplomats to evacuate Kiev, because he wants to attack all foreign diplomats and also decision-making centers. Decision-making centers has to do with embassies, all these places, big offices that the European Union has there, and also America, and also other countries too. But they said that China has told Russia to slow down and wait for them to remove their own diplomats first before you come finish Kiev, because the little thing that is remaining in Kiev is what Russia wants to remove. They want to finish it. I think they want to do the way Donald Trump did very, very well with Iran. Evacuate a country or a state is because you are going very, very hard and very, very tense on that very city. Maybe this is his time. He wants to capture Zelensky. But before we continue, let's listen to this news.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has expressed deep concern over Russia's warning that it plans to carry out strikes on Ukrainian defense industries and decision-making centers in Kyiv. Addressing the UN Security Council, Guterres warned that any further escalation could worsen civilian suffering and push prospects for peace even further away. He also condemned reported attacks on civilian infrastructure, including a strike on a school and dormitory building in Starobilsk, a Russian-controlled area in eastern Ukraine. Listen in to what the UN Secretary General has said.
I'm deeply concerned by a recent announcement by the Russian Federation to launch consistent and systemic strikes against Ukrainian defense enterprises in Kyiv, as well as against decision-making centers and command posts, following reports of an Ukrainian drone attack on a college building and dormitory in the Ukrainian city of Starobilsk, presently occupied by the Russian Federation. On Friday, we condemned the attack on the school, as we condemn all attacks on civilians and civilian infrastructure wherever they occur. But now more than ever, it is imperative to avoid any escalation of a conflict that has already exacted a devastating toll on civilians and that risks making the search for peace even more distant, prolonging the suffering of people.
The remarks come after Moscow announced what it called systematic strikes on military-linked targets in Kyiv, days after one of the largest aerial bombardments of the Ukrainian capital since the war began. Russia has also warned foreign diplomats and civilians to stay away from administrative and military sites, while urging foreign nationals to leave Kyiv immediately. Ukraine has condemned the warning as intimidation and blackmail aimed at the diplomatic community and its allies. Let's listen in to what Ukraine's ambassador to the UN said.
We also reaffirm our strong commitment to the sovereignty, independence, unity, and territorial integrity of Ukraine within its internationally recognized borders. We further reiterate that the attempted illegal annexation of parts of Ukraine's sovereign territory by the Russian Federation is null and void under international law. And the last point, we also condemn recent threats by Russia to diplomatic institutions and embassies in Kyiv. This is something which we cannot accept.
The European Union has since summoned Russia's charge d'affaires over threats to diplomats in Ukraine, while Norway and Germany have also taken similar diplomatic steps. And now, joining us live to tell us more is Dr. Gilbert.
What is Russia up to? Because if you are asking all diplomats to leave Kiev because you want to attack diplomats area, military area, decision-making area, those are vital area, those are critical area that Russia is about to attack. It is possible they are going to use intelligence to target all this area. I don't know what is going to become of Zelensky, because this is the first time Russia is urging diplomats and foreigners to leave a particular state in Ukraine since this war began. So I am so sure that this very next strike is going to be more tense than the one they carried out some days ago, using that new Oreshnik hypersonic missiles system on Ukraine. It was very horrible. I am not seeing this war getting to an end at all. I bet you that Iran-American war will end, but Ukraine and Russia war, I am not seeing it getting to an end, because Russia is using its oil money to buy its own weapon, while Zelensky is hoping for the European Union to continue supporting him to buy ammunition to fight with Russia. For how long is the Euro going to continue buying you ammunition to fight? They are even getting tired. The Europe said they are even getting tired because the war is not ending, and Russia is not even feeling the heat like the Ukraine is feeling the heat, because Ukraine is the one that don't have the money to fight the war. It is the Europe that is sponsoring Ukraine. They just gave him about billions of dollars again for another 1 year of war. You understand? And now the European nations are tired of sponsoring this war, paying a lot of money to Ukraine to fight Russia, and Russia is not feeling the heat. Even with all the sanctions that has been placed on Russia, it's just like Russia is not even feeling that sanction is on him. He's even carrying out more strike than ever. Now even they pump the Ukraine pass upon all those sanctions, meaning the sanction is not working. The European Union should think of a different thing to do to Russia, because the sanction is not just working at all. Because this sanction is working, how come Russia is never lack of having ammunition? They say, okay, this sanction is going to cripple its economy, is going to make it not to have enough money to continue to manufacture ammunition. But Russia has a lot now. They have a lot of ammunition. They have excess of it. In fact, they can even say to Europe if Europe need. Now, America, maybe they cover Europe up now. Now, America and Europe, like this. So, and Russia and America, they are like this. So, they have to call America to tell them, look, see what we are going to do in Russia. Please, ask your diplomat to evacuate Kiev before we carry out the strike. That is to tell you that they really still have a good relationship, a good ally with America. Unlike Europe, they did not even inform. They just told this one, look, all foreign diplomats should just evacuate, including European diplomats. This one is going to be tough. I don't think European diplomats will like to evacuate, because they will want to hold their stand there in Ukraine, because they believe that they are supporting Ukraine, and if Russia should attack them, they are even thinking of retaliating to Russia, because Russia have threatened all of them. Let's see what will happen in the coming days.